If you're living a normal life with a very normal wage, investing your £500 is not going to change your life.
So what is the very best way to make money then in 2023?
That's a good question, because that's what you should be trying to do. You should be trying to make money, because if you're
maximizing.
Because if you're a normal person with a normal wage and a normal income and you're focusing on investments, you're making a big mistake, because there's no way you can invest £500 that's going to grow into, maybe you could pull off a lottery win shitcoin pump or something. But in general, with anything normal outside of this clown world garbage, which has vanished because the real world's back, because the last 2 years have been clown world. Now the real world's back and it's hard to make money again. There's nothing you can put £500 in without doing any work, and it's just going to blow up and it's going to make you a millionaire, right? So if you don't have significant money to invest, you shouldn't be focusing on investments. You should be focusing on how to make more money. And there's lots of ways to do that.
So when you say don't focus on investments, do you mean like have it in the background still and focus your main energy on making money, or not do it at all?
Let's say you're a normal person, you're working a normal job, you're making $4,000 a month, and you pay all your bills and you're left with $1,000 a month. And then in your spare time, you're worried about how to spend that or how to invest that $1,000 a month.
Right.
I think that's a waste of time. You should be far more worried about spending your time trying to make more money.
Yeah,
because
100%.
$1,000 a month, it's just not enough money.
So you could invest that grand in yourself.
Absolutely. Invest in knowledge or something like that. But investing in a coin, like I said, unless it's a lottery win. And before I go on to answer the question, I do want to make something clear. I think the last 2 years have been a fantastic period of wealth creation. The money printers were on full, and it was full clown world, and it was bullshit. And a lot of people made money during the clown world and spent it all, and they now think they're going to continue to make money in clown world
that's
ways.
not happening.
No, the real world is back. The brokies and the wagies, you're all going back to McDonald's. If you bought Pooh Dick coin and made 200 grand, and you think you're going to be able to continue to do that for the rest of your life, you're a dumbass. That was a once in a lifetime generational gap where you could pull something off. And now it's back to the hard times. Even all the big tech companies, and the tech companies make money from the sky for free with pixels. They're cutting staff. If they're cutting staff, then it's really hard. It's going to get very difficult to make money now. So a lot of the dumb shit is over. In terms of how to make money in the world today, it's hard. I think that the world is changing into an economy which is to a degree based on attention. I think you need to find a way to get attention to you and who you are, your product or your service, and find a way to monetize it. So the easiest way to do that is to have some knowledge. Even the podcast you guys run is an extremely efficient podcast. If you compare it to some of the other YouTube channels, like the big ones, like where they do these crazy stunts and stuff.
Yeah.
For you to get views, you talk.
Yeah.
For them to get views, they have to build a set and build it. It's not efficient, right? You need to find an efficient way to get attention, and then you have to prove yourself credible in your field and attract customers. And I think the best way to do that is online, and it doesn't matter what it is. And I think if you do those things and you work very hard and you try your best and you're never lazy, you will make some money. That's what I believe.
It's quite an amazing world, isn't it, with digital products? Because it wasn't that long ago, if you said to me, everyone in the country is going to give you a penny, but you've got to go and get it, you couldn't actually afford to go and get every penny from everyone in the country. You would lose money doing it. Nowadays, you can do it, can't you?
That's an amazing way to look at it. And it's absolutely true. Yeah. And one of the benefits of globalism and all the things we were talking about earlier on in the podcast is now we're in a globalized world, and a lot of the products and services and things you can offer can be offered to absolutely everybody. So inside of don't want to do a plug, but I will, but inside of our university, we teach a bunch of things. We have 18 modern wealth creation methods, but they're all based on online. I think online, it's not groundbreaking to say the internet's here to stay and it's the future. And I think that whatever business you're in, you need an online presence to it. And then you have to find a way to attract attention. And the best way to do that is to come across as knowledge and interesting. I think that's the best way to do it.
If your business isn't an online business, do you think that
tell me a business that's not an online business.
That is a hard one. But
anymore.
if it isn't purely an online business and you don't have location freedom, do you think you are actually free? Because E-Man talks a lot about footballers. They're earning a high income, but they're not actually free because they have to be somewhere at a certain time and they're told what to do.
Yeah, and very few people are actually free. And I'm saying very few, because everybody to a degree is owned by somebody, all the entertainers, all the footballers. And even, if you're a CEO, technically you're free, but if you're too free, your business fails. So everyone's to a degree is owned. But you've just said something that intrigued me. Let's try and think of a business that's not an online business. What's not an online business?
Laying bricks.
Laying bricks, building.
Cutting hair.
Oh, cutting hair. Yeah, so cutting hair is not an online business.
Not that you go to the hairdresser that often these days.
In fact, I go twice a week to have my hair shaved. Yeah, because I could. My brother has a full head of hair. I could have a full head of hair. I like having my head shaved. So anyway, Yes. So let's say you're a hairdresser, right?
Yeah.
You're a hairdresser and you cut hair. Then
Can I just hold you a second? Do you want to change the SD card on the main camera?
change it? I'll get another coffee.
Right, we're back in the room.
We are back.
Yep.
All right, cutting hair, right?
Yeah. So online businesses, cutting hair.
Yes, cutting hair. You're right.
That was great.
Hang on, let's go.
That was so
you
bad.
can just take it off and then I'll cut it in.
Back in the room.
Cutting hair.
So,
Like a TikTok.
yeah, cutting hair. So then you have to define what an online business is, because if you start attracting attention online, that could, I guess you could say it's an online business. But let's try and think about something that's purely online. You're going to have to find a problem to solve. So if you're a hairdresser, you can either solve the problem of teaching people how to cut their own hair, which most people are probably not going to be that interested in, or something that goes wrong with hair. So you can say, I'm a hairdresser. I've been a hairdresser for a long time. I've identified men that have male balding patterns that go wrong, or women whose hair is damaged by dye and that can go wrong, etc. I've been a hairdresser for ages. Here's my Instagram page of all the hairs I've cut, and here's the way I can help you. And you can start a YouTube channel that shows all the, you can come up with some health care, some hair thing. You could literally get some cream from X place and add in some avocado oil, some garbage, say it helps people and say it helps their hair. You've been around for a long time and you can establish credibility. You establish credibility based on the fact that you cut hair, you've been around for ages, and you know exactly what you're talking about. You have this cream, you have this product now that has helped X amount of customers. You can give it to your customers and they can start to give you reviews and say, yeah, it works fantastically. You can sell it by your Instagram page for $7 a bottle and bam, you have an online business. Anything can be done, right?
You can forget about the manual part of the business from that
So
point
it's about
on.
transitioning.
It's about establishing credibility and getting attention.
It's almost as well building a brand, knowing what to put into the brand and what to actually discard.
Completely. If you establish credibility and you gain attention, you'll make money. So I'll give you another example. I had a friend who was a personal trainer. He used to go to the gym every day and he used to train people. He didn't make that much money. People would miss appointments. It was like £50 an hour. He'd get there, get back, blah, blah, blah. I said, listen, brother, you used to, he didn't at the time, look fantastic. How about you spend the next 6 months getting absolute killer shape, then put up a bunch of pictures on Instagram of you in killer shape, and then put together your workout plans and tell people they'll look like you even though they never will, and sell that for $7 or 10 pounds or 15 pounds and sell it by your Instagram. And he went from making $2,500 a month or $2,000 a month as a personal trainer to $15,000 a month without ever going in the gym. He only went to the gym for himself because he was selling information. So
It's funny, that's exactly what I've said to my personal trainer. I was like, read Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson and understand the online world a little bit and move to your business online.
completely. And that's what a lot of people are doing now, but now it's getting more and more competitive. So you have to establish credibility and get attention in a way which is becoming more difficult. Like in the fitness industry, it can be done purely on how you look. You can get some credibility and attention. But especially in the business world now, you have to be very knowledgeable. You have to be because that's the way things go when they get competitive, which is fine. But this all goes back and ties into what we were saying earlier on. If you're not trying your best and working hard and paying attention, then you're going to get wrecked. Another thing I will say to people at home, and I've said this before, every single time I ever spend money, I pay attention to why I spent money. And that gives you a lot of information and a lot of knowledge when it comes to sales and marketing. If I go and I buy some clothes, I am conscious about why did I choose this store instead of that store or that store?
What were they doing better?
Correct. Is it the branding? Do I know them? Am I familiar with them? Is it because there was no line? Is it because they had a brighter sign? What was it? Oh, there's a line there. There's no line here. So in my physical businesses, which I have in Romania, I have this thing with the staff. I said, there can never be a line. Faster. Dude, I don't want, but it's just 3 people. No, there are people walking past who won't walk in because there's a line, because that's what I do. No line, but you don't want to look empty.
No.
So you no line until the last customer. Now you talk shit.
Yeah.
So there's one person.
Yes.
Like you have to manage these things. Most people don't micromanage this stuff.
I think it's almost an illness that you seem to have that I have, because I can wander around a shop and I'll say to my wife, I'll say, look at that, that's beautiful. She said, what are you looking at? I said, well, the way they've displayed that, that is, I'm taking that, I'm using that.
Completely.
And I'll be online and I'll go, look at the way they've done that. Right, I can morph that into my business. But it is a little illness.
But I think you have to have a business to be like that. If you've
Do you
got something
think?
to apply.
I don't think so, because you can look at other people, what they're wearing, what they're doing. That's why they're standing out. Right, I've got to get that. How do I get that?
You either have to have a business or a role model,
Yeah.
because I remember walking around with Dad and he was like that, and then I took that on.
But
even though
before
I
I
didn't have a
started
business,
business,
at that
I
stage.
didn't care about any of that stuff. I'd just be working for a wage, not caring about nothing.
But then
Soon
you
as I started
discovered
a
Mark
business-
Tilbury on YouTube.
As soon as I started a business, every advertisement, everything, I'll just look at it. Why are they doing it like that?
And you
How
just
do they do
analyse it.
Exactly.
It's a free lesson.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No.
You have to pay attention to seeing people who are doing things and if they work and how they work. And And you're completely and utterly correct. And you should do that all the time. Every time you spend money, you should work out how they convinced you to spend money.
I had a friend who used to run these radio controlled cars at these model events, and he said, I can't make enough money. I said, of course you can. He said, no, I can't. I said, well, let me re-engineer your business doing this over a weekend. I say, so what's the setup? He said, it's 5 minutes for £1 or whatever it was. I said, right, we'll charge double that, and it's £2 a go. No one knows how long this go is. It's true. Right? Let the queue build a little bit, but as it builds, they get less time. Yeah. It's how fun fairs have worked for years.
Smart.
Years.
Smart. You're right.
He made loads of money.
Of course, you're right. You nailed it. Absolutely. And that's how things work. And it's simple things. Like I have a few physical companies, I have a few physical businesses, and it can be a simple matter of, depending on, in the business districts where there's men in suits, I have a pretty girl who's a waitress and she works there. The difference that will make to a bottom line is the dude going and flirting with this chick every lunchtime. You'd be amazed. But people don't think about these things. But even if you don't have a business, if you pay enough attention to these kind of things, you'll get business ideas. It'll inspire you. You go, you know what? If you start to really do it, you'll be around, and after a few months, you go, you know what? I can do this better than they're doing it because I'll take in that aspect, and they're making mistakes. I can do this better, and that's how you do it.
It's all in the details.
It's all in the details. That's life, right?
Absolutely.
What percentage of your income would you say is disposable?
So I'm now at a point where, and my attitude to money, I want to make something clear, is relatively